Welcome to the video. Welcome to me redoing my reed frog tank for the second time now. This is a voiceover. This video had more voiceovers than I would like, but the audio I had trouble with, so this is a lot crisper than it originally was. Basically, we're gonna start this video off by showing you what items I already had and kind of explaining what they are and that type of stuff. There are two items that I didn't have at this exact time when I was filming that were going to come a little bit later, but I show you those later in the video. Voice over me here because the audio in this video sucks during this portion. So first things first, we're starting off with the Gorilla branded super glue. Specifically the gel form. It's used commonly in the aquarium hobby. It's safe when it's cured, and it cures super fast if wet. The next item on our list is the Galapagos branded Terrarium starter kit. This kit includes 6 different types of mosses, which are the royal pillow moss, moss vine, reindeer moss, sphagnum moss, and sheet moss. For what you get based on the price, it is a decent amount. The only thing they kind of lack on is sphagnum moss, specifically because they expect you to kind of disperse this within the aquarium, especially in large clumps in certain areas. I personally don't think you get enough of that, but the rest of the moss is well worth your deal based on the variety. The next thing on our list is the Terrarium Aquatic Substrate. This is just basic sand. It's not calcium sand. It has no additives. It's just basic sand. I didn't end up using all of this, obviously. I used about 25% of it. Last but not least is this T-Rex branded substrate. It is a 2-part substrate, obviously with the cocoa fiber husk that we're seeing now. Also, it includes a mulch wood chip situation for an additive. By far, I believe this was the most expensive material out of everything. This is future me. I just want to clarify a couple things. So I'm re-recording this audio part because some of it doesn't make sense. Basically, I was waiting on 2 more items. I was waiting on some expanded clay balls, which I also believe are sometimes called LECA, or LECA. Excuse my pronunciation of that. I might be pronouncing it wrong. Probably am. And some leaves for decor. The LECA was to make my drainage layer deeper. In a video that I'm currently editing that was on the teeter-totter if I was actually ever going to finish / upload that video, I'm deciding to do it, was the first reset up of this tank. I didn't make the drainage layer deep enough. It was quite shallow. It was only about an inch, roughly an inch, where it honestly should have been an inch and a half. So I had to order more LECA for the setup. Okay, this looks so horrible. Sorry for the really blue light. Let me see if I can change the lighting. I can't. Okay, I'm gonna change it to white. So right now, this is the part of the video where I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna explain what was wrong with this current setup. So, new things that I installed. I installed a misting system into the setup because I don't feel that I was being on top of my misting game with this setup. So to combat with that, I set up a automatic misting system. It mist every 4 hours for 20 seconds. Now, beforehand, my drainage layer was already pretty much halfway or above halfway constantly. What you can kind of see is like it's filled to the cap right now, and it's kind of leaking into here. It's kind of hard, so there's a lot of light right here, but that was my common issue. So now my actual soil, as you can see, is pretty wet. Like, it shouldn't be that wet. Like, it shouldn't be that. It should be moist, but not. It shouldn't be like that, basically. So most of this is gonna have to get ripped out. The top layer I can probably salvage. Everything under else is going to have to get destroyed, which is why I bought more substrate for this specific purpose. But it's just too moist. It's too moist. It's too wet. So now when I do redo this tank, I have to add, I have to make the drainage layer deeper, and I have to somehow incorporate a system to where I can drain the drainage layer efficiently. But yes, I will include more footage, I guess, when I either get my packages with the rest of the stuff or I start preparation. Okay, so I decided to do a voiceover for this portion of the video just so I can explain some things better in detail, instead of giving you clips with music on it. So in this portion of the video, you're seeing me grab the cup and get in preparation to remove the frog. The reason I removed all of the decor, if you notice that this looks a lot plainer than it used to, is because this exact reason. I knew the day that I wanted to remove her for the revamp of the cage, it was going to be a lot easier if I knew that she was going to be in one place, in one spot, and there was very few places for her to hide. In the previous setup, there was that plant and a bigger one, and then the huge chunk of wood. So there was like tons of places that she could hide, and it would just been too much work for me trying to find her in the cage, then pinpointing her. This was a lot easier. So that's why I did preparation like this. In this clip, you see me washing and replacing and replenishing all those words, the old substrate. This substrate actually because it goes a little bit deeper than that black bar, ended up being around 2 inches deep compared to it barely being 1 inch last time. Like, it was 1 inch roughly depending on where you measured, but it really wasn't 1 inch. So I basically, when I set this tank up, I cleaned everything when I revamped it. I took out all the dirt that was in there, because it smelled rancid. Like, it didn't smell that bad at the top, but once I started digging to start scooping everything out, it smelled horrible. So all of that had to be tossed. So everything you see in the finale of the setup, is all new material. The only thing I kept was obviously the screen and the old LECA balls, and I add more LECA or dry expanded clay in there to replenish that, to make that drainage layer deeper. This is me mixing all the materials. This was actually surprisingly kind of fun, to see it go from this basic form and this texture that it was. I don't know how to explain it. All I can say is that it felt like outside. Like, I felt like I was actually playing in actual dirt once everything was mixed together. So I ended up using that whole bag of wood chips. I know earlier I said I was probably not going to use half of it, but I used the whole bag. It actually helped with the texture of everything and the visual thing of it. And the isopods and future little livestock will really love it. I added about 25% of that bag of sand. So I already knew I was going to use the whole thing. I used more than I originally thought I was going to, but it actually helped a lot with the feel of it and the airiness of it. It kind of helped a lot with that. So it did its job. I did end up adding sphagnum moss in there. I forgot at the last moment. And I wish I would have moistened the sphagnum moss before I added it in there, but I didn't. It was my bad. I did spray it down in the tank when I was putting it in there and mixed it around a little bit, so it got a little moist. But this is the final setup. That was very quick. I lost some footage. I thought I recorded me putting it in there. I thought I recorded me putting all the decorations in there, but apparently I didn't. Or either the footage is missing. But this was the final setup. The front glass is dirty. It's still kind of dirty. But as you can see, the drainage layer is a lot thick. It measures to around, like I said earlier, like almost 2 inches. When previous it was barely 1 inch. So that's lovely. I still have a nice depth for isopods and springtails. That's a little froggy there. She's looking great. I don't know how to explain. Like, she looks healthy. She looks fine. It looks like she lost a tiny bit of weight. I think, but I'm not 100% sure. I have to look at some old pictures that I have of her, but like right there, like, she looks a decent weight. Like, she looks good. But yeah, ever since I added her in there, I have not seen her. Like, normally I may see her once every other month, but I have not seen her at all. I have been dealing with humidity issues in the tank. The humidity has been a little low, so I've had to, with the automatic misting, also include hand misting to keep it up. That's because I did not add any, the soil's kind of dry. That's number one. The bottom layer of the soil is dry. The top layer is moist because it gets misted regularly, but there's not enough moisture actually within the drainage layer and in the substrate to keep that humidity up by itself. So over time, with the misting and my misting, it'll do a lot better and get to that better zone. But yeah, she really did not want to leave the cup. Like, she generally did not want to leave that cup. I kind of had to encourage her to leave it. Like, I kept moving it around. I would leave it alone for 30 to 40 minutes and she would still be in there. So this process was the longest process, getting her to get out of the cup. But I finally did, and as you can see, like, that was our pre-set up humidity and stuff for me doing my initial misting when I set everything up in there. But yeah, it looks pretty decent. I still have plans to add maybe some live plants or at least some more fake plants. I kind of want to add one more nozzle for that misting system. I would just have to see how I can add that on there. But this is the setup. It's still doing pretty great. Again, we're having trouble with humidity. I decided to take a little time lapse of the frog enclosure leading up to the first misting after it being freshly set up, so you kind of can see how the misting system works. If you are interested in this misting system in any way, I will leave it linked down below. I kind of wish it came with 3 or 4 nozzles instead of just 2. But I guess they were meant to be put in the front, but I thought they were going to look kind of ugly there. I kind of just wish I had 2 to 1 more, just like on the angle and the sides. But yep, this is the first misting. Besides that, thank you for watching this video if you've made it full way through. Like this video if you want. Subscribe if you would like. I definitely will have another update once I get the critters coming in. I also am willing to do a video to talk about my misting system if anybody's interested in that. Again, like and leave a comment down below if you want. Other than that, I will tell you the name of the missing system as soon as I find it. I'll put it up on the screen if I remember, so hopefully I remember. But that's the missing system I have. I'll leave a link to it and everything down in the description below. Voice over me again. What I was trying to say was, if you're interested in this, I will have a link down below. If you want me to do a review on it, I can. I've had it for about, I want to say, a month at this point. I have to look at my Amazon listing to be 100% sure, but I think I've had it for around a month, so I'm willing to do a review. Thank you for watching, and if you're still here, you made it to the end of the video. Hopefully, it's a lot shorter than it was originally scheduled to be. I think I had like almost 30 minutes of footage. I narrowed it down a lot because I was like, nobody wants to watch 30 minutes of me yabbering my mouth around setting up a frog cage. I mostly only did this for myself anyway. I just wanted to see like the evolution of it because this is my third time setting this cage up, so hopefully it did amazing. But again, thank you for watching. If you like this content, like it. If you don't. Have a good day.